We're here. Patience is a virtue. She said she did it, Donna Adelson. It was to keep her grandkids, but it wasn't supposed to go that far. That's what one of Donna Adelson's closest jailhouse friends told the jury in Leon County during Donna Adelson's trial. And tonight, that jail daughter, Drina Bernhardt, who I just met backstage and is awesome, she joins Surviving the Survivor in her first in-depth interview.
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor. Here's your host, Emmy award-winning journalist, Joel Waldman.
What's up, SGS Nation? Welcome to Surviving the Survivor. This is the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime, no matter how long it takes to get cranking. But it is understandable with Drina. She needed a little extra time, and we are happy to give it to her. Tonight, we're going to hear from her. She is the woman Donna Adelson basically tried to manipulate to no avail. Drina Bernhardt is our guest. She is the inmate that Donna Adelson did call her jail daughter. Drina says Donna Adelson promised her money, pills, commissary, even a grand piano, all in exchange for giving false testimony that could have changed the course of the trial. But Drina said, buzz off, Donna. Here she is. Drina joining us. Hey, there she is. A natural. I can tell right away. Drina, the fair weather fans, and we don't have many of those, very few, said, oh, you know what? I don't think she's coming. I'm going to get out of here. Now it's their loss, but maybe they'll catch it.
That's right.
I knew you'd be here, and here you are. And shout out to you, and shout out to Steve Cohen and the COE. This took quite a bit of wrangling behind the scenes, and it's not easy. Drina, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you just got out of the Leon County jail in the last couple of days.
I did. Right? Yes, yeah. I did, and it feels amazing. So yes.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. You're out. Are you in Tallahassee? Or can you tell us?
Yes, I am in Tallahassee, and it's beautiful. This is where I was born and raised here, so it's just so great, and it's the perfect time right now because it's fall, and I'm still on that cloud of getting out of jail, and everyth's perfect. So yeah.
And you know what? I hope you stay out. Now I know this part is not easy, but if I read it correctly, I think you've been arrested something like 27 times. Which is a fair amount. I understand, you dealt with like a drug issue, which brought you back in. How hard has it been for you to try to kick that and just keep yourself free?
It is extremely challenging. I think that one of the biggest things, the biggest thing for me, and I believe other addicts as well, is being able to process that pain. And it's so much easier to take the drug and numb the pain because then you don't have to feel it. However, that causes in the long run more problems and then more pain. So it's a cycle that's very hard to get out of. Very hard. However, it can be done. It can.
And let me tell you, if there's one person that can do it, and just talking to you for the few seconds I did backstage, I know you can do it. So one of the great things about Surviving the Survivor is, and I always say this, we've got the best guests in true crime, but we got a better community. I know someone's going to reach out to me, and please do, survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com, who can maybe help Drina while she's on the outside to remain on the outside. And if you need some of that extra support, even if it's someone to talk to occasionally, I know there's other people here who are dealing and have dealt with the same issue, and we're all one big family here. So if you ever run into a tempting situation, I want you to have the support that you really need, because I think everyone does need that. By the way, my mother, who's a co-host on the show, you see her picture back there, she's 86 years old. She hosts a show on Fridays, but she is a licensed social worker. And when I was a little kid, she used to work with like crack addicted moms, and my mom would, she'd go the extra mile, but really help them change their lives around. So who knows? Maybe I'll put you in touch with my mom, and she'll keep you.
Just you saying just now that, you're here and you believe in me. It's so rare for people like us to hear that because we've made so many mistakes. So hearing that just from you, it does something for me because it gives me hope. And it might be small to someone else, but there's so much negativity. So thank you. It means a lot to hear that. And if I could hear more of that and even others, it means a lot.
Yeah. Christina Todd, I want to get to this comment here, but Christina Todd in the chat says she will sponsor you. So, Christina, please email me, survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com. And listen,
Thank
uh,
you.
yeah. So, I don't know, Drina's specific circumstance right now, but it can't hurt to at least have the support. But Nurturing Two here says, Drina, did you receive my care package on September 2nd, 2025? My gift was anonymous. My message said, thinking of you. You mentioned on the stand how nice it is to receive. So I wanted to express my
Oh,
gratitude. Did you get
I
something?
did. I didn't know who it was, so thank you so much. I cried that day. So thank you and ate all the chocolate. Thank you so much. It was amazing.
Tell us a little. So, I mean, people dwell on the bad, but I know you've got a lot of good. So you grew up. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into what happened in jail with Don and all that. You were born and raised in Tallahassee, you said, and
Yes,
tell us a little bit like
yes.
what. Yeah.
Actually grew up. We were very poor, but I never knew at the time because I was happy.
Mm.
I grew up on a sprout farm. My parents were loving hippies, so that was fun. I had a pretty decent childhood. And then I was always throughout grade school, I've always been a, AB student. In ballet, tap, jazz. I overachiever, all that fun stuff. In high school, this is actually funny, but I turned my nose to anybody that did drugs, even smoking pot, because I was so against it. So until some trauma happened later in life, things went very well and I was happy. So then something traumatic happened and that happened 11 years ago, and I don't know how to process it. It's challenging for me. So
So you're saying something happened 11 years ago that was very traumatic, and that's what's triggered this drug use. Is that it?
right,
Yeah.
right, and I'm aware of it. Don't I don't really know how to deal with it. So
Yeah. That's really
yeah,
tough. And again, I know just by looking at the comments that people are going to reach out, and COE and I will put you in touch. I'm hoping with the right people. But obviously, this. I don't need to tell you the hard work comes from within and from you. And I know you're going to be willing to do that. So again,
yeah.
appreciate you being here. Space Coast just donated 10, I believe, STS memberships. He's riding that Dodgers wave. Spacey, were you at the
Oh,
parade today? Dodgers won. Jays look pretty good though, Spacey. Thank you, STS and Drina, for this interview. We're gonna get into it. So how long was this last stint when you were in the Leon County jail? When did you get out? Today is Monday. When did
I
you get
got
out?
I got out on the 30th, so very recently.
Yeah, the last couple of days. And how long were you in for during this last stint?
Okay, so this last time, around 90 days, but when I was in with Donna, it was 5 months. So,
Okay, so you were in. So first, take us into the Leon County Jail. Most of us
oh
obviously have never
gosh.
been there. What's it like when you are processed and you go in there? What is that place like?
Okay, so I'm gonna initially give it to you. So, say it's your first time. Obviously, I've been tons of times, so I'm treated a little differently. But so you come in and it's seems almost like prehistoric, like you're going back in time, like a dungeon, and the smells, it smells like depression. I don't know, maybe like a hospital, but worse. It's hard to explain. Um, but everything, the walls are, white. There's no color, there's no happiness, there's no um nothing at all reminds you of outside, even though you're still in Tallahassee. You feel like you're on another planet. So you come in, and the booking process takes 13 hours, and the officers treat you as though, you're not really important. And not saying they're not good people. It's just that's how it feels when you go in there. And then basically the process of being dehumanized starts. You have to everyone wears the same color, and you're not allowed to wear makeup. You're not allowed to be happy, so basically just you've messed up, and so now you have to pay the price. And so it's definitely not a good feeling the first few days, especially for me, because I was detoxing from opiates. So it was very challenging.
Now, your name, a lot of people think your name is with a T, but it's actually with a D, Drina. And you said that your parents were hippies. Number one, are your parents still with us? Your parents still around?
My mother is, and by the way, Drina means protector of mankind. So yes, it's very powerful.
That was my next question. There you go. So you're now I'm gonna say you got to protect yourself now, not mankind. You got to protect Drina, and I know you're gonna do that. So when you say your parents were hippies, I'm curious because my parents, my dad passed, which I still can't believe, and my mom is 86, but they were very, in the 1960s, they went on civil rights marches. I told you my mom worked with crack addicted and drug addicted women. What was family life like for you before then we're going to dig into Donna?
Okay, so when I say hippies, I just mean full of love and not judgmental. And however, there was definitely dysfunction. My dad was a heroin addict, and there was abuse here and there, and there was drug dealing, and a lot of my trauma from my childhood I've pushed aside subconsciously. I've worked through it a little bit in counseling, but mostly I tend to remember happy memories, and then the bad ones, I don't really feel any feeling towards them. It's just kind of, it happened and it's done. So but for the most part, my childhood was good, and parents did the best they could. So they're both amazing. My dad's passed as well, but they're amazing. So
and you know what's crazy is there's a stereotype out there, and I think we all have it. I think there's a bias, like you hear someone has been in jail, arrested 27 times. I didn't know what to expect meeting you. It's 180 degrees different. I mean, you are a person that I feel like I would not only like, but I would want to hang out with. I'm sure Donna.
I mean, I am pretty awesome, so that's definitely. I feel like you're hitting on this.
And you got some good. I'll tell you what. You said you're pretty awesome. I've got to run this. This is pretty awesome. What I'm about to show everybody, and then we're gonna get into Donna. Stick around. Every once in a while, I got to get out of the studio, so I'll hit a coffee shop and I'll start working on the podcast. And I did exactly that the other day, and I started thinking, is someone reading my computer? I don't mean like actually reading, but is someone able to hack into my Wi-Fi in a coffee shop? And I realized the answer is yes. And that is exactly why I need Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN is sort of like wearing pants. It keeps all the important parts and makes sure that it stays private, that all your junk is kept in one place and no one is getting to it. It gives you peace of mind, and you get 24/7 customer service. There is no risk in trying Surfshark VPN, and they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So go to surfshark.com, The Survivor, or use the code The Survivor at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. And by 2037, we should have a prompter in the studio, and then I won't be looking down as much. But you get the idea. Surfshark's pretty awesome, as is Drina. So, Drina, now you're in the Leon County Judge. Drina might be my favorite guest in history right now. I don't know why. She's got awesome. You've got awesome energy. Like, I want to just sit and like I want to like hang out in a living room, staring at like a lavender scented candle and just talk to you.
Wait. Can we do a different color because lavender was jail? Can we
yes, any other color? That's fine.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
so, so, um, you're doing like a 5-month stint, I think you said, and now in comes Donna Adelson. Set the scene. You're in a pod because I saw a video of you, during the trial. How do you guys first cross paths?
Okay, so I honestly didn't follow any of the trial. Any of that at all. I didn't really care. So I didn't even know who she was. However, I found out after she and I started talking, other people told me, but I was sitting up front by the television and she was nearby. And I said, "Oh, I wish I had marshmallows or powdered donuts." And then, like 3 minutes later, she walks up and hands me it's toilet paper with something in it. And I was like, okay. And inside was one powdered donut. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. So that was my first interaction with Miss Donna. And then we just started talking. And ultimately, she wanted to know if I had been locked up with Kay. So I feel as though now, in retrospect, that was all planned, So, but
Mm.
for me, I had a donut. So I was excited, So, but that's where it started. And then I actually liked her in the beginning because I fell for the fraud, the front, and
Mm.
then when I saw the truth, things changed. So, but yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah, and that's you know what? It's absolutely fascinating because if you did watch the trial, Georgia Kaplan and Sarah Catherine Dugan used a powdered donut as a metaphor,
Really?
that's what they used as a metaphor for direct and circumstantial evidence, and they used a powdered donut. So it's so weird to me in a interesting way that that's the first thing you got. There's memes going around with Donna Adelson's face covered in powdered donut because of that. So it's
Oh my
crazy. Is that something you can get in the commissary, or did Donna smuggle in powdered donuts?
You can get it on commissary, but she did have things smuggled in as well. And yeah, I mean, not a big deal for us out here, but in their highlighters and stuff like that, very important.
Yeah. So
But
now
yeah.
here's the deal. For full disclosure, I'm terrified of prison. Never been to jail or prison, and I'd like to keep it that way. But you always hear, the inmates know exactly who's coming in. You say you didn't really know much. Did you know that she had a son who was convicted in this murder plot? I mean, what did you know about her prior to actually getting that powdered donut for the first time?
I mean, very little, and honestly, it was just because I did that's not where my focus was. I didn't really care. I had my own, things going on for myself, but then once I got to know her, then I became curious. So really, no, not much at all. And then, people would come to me, and then I was like, oh, that's that case, because I was locked up with Kay, Catherine Magbanwa.
Mhm.
So, and then, Donna and I then got close. We're together 24/7. And then I knew everything and things I did not want to know. So,
Mm.
yeah, I went from not knowing at all to knowing too much.
All right, so let's just break this down in terms of time. So you knew Kay, who's
Okay.
Katie Magbanawa, and she's serving a
Yeah.
life sentence. So she was. Did you know her from when she was awaiting trial? Like, does it go back to that point?
Yeah, it was before trial, yes, and I met her, and we weren't very close at all, even though that's what Donna wanted me to portray. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I knew her from jail, so
You knew
yeah,
you knew Kay from jail.
right,
Okay.
and just as an acquaintance, that's it. So yeah.
As so you guys cross paths there, and did you know that Kay was in there for this murder for hire plot?
I mean, yeah, I did, that was what was going around, but it's like I didn't like for me, I don't really gossip. I don't really like to judge. And plus, you never know what's real in jail. In jail, you can be in there for anything, and you can also make up what you are. You can be a cardiac, surgeon,
Mm.
because nobody knows the truth. So, but I was aware. And then I, didn't ever think it was going to come to this just because I knew Kay. So, yeah.
Mm. So now Donna gives you now moving forward. So for those who are watching, and if you're just tuning in, This is Drina with a D, like Tina, but Dr. Bernhardt, originally from Tallahassee, and she knew both Katie McBanawa and then Donna Adelson in the Leon County Jail. So now you get to this point. Donna comes in. You're not really sure, who she is or why she's there, or any of this. She gives you this powdered donut. You find out, I think, after the fact that, she wants someone who knew Kay to maybe help manipulate a situation. When does it, how long did it take you from the time she hands you that donut until you kind of had this revelation that you were being, I guess, I hate to use this phrase, but kind of used by her? Did you feel that way? Did you feel that was happening?
Oh, there was definitely, used, manipulated. She thought that I had no brains at all, I suppose, and that my life, I was such an addict, I'd be willing to give up my life to help her, but yes, there was a change in her demeanor one day. We would walk around the pod, and she told me one day that she couldn't stand her son Robert, and she got very nasty and said some things she wished she could do to him. And at that moment, I have two sons, and it, that wasn't the Donna she had been portraying to me. This wasn't the cute, every poor me Donna. This was maybe the real Donna. And that's when I was like, wait a second. And then, it was like my eyes opened up, and then I started to get angry because of,
Hold tight right there. So you're starting to get to know her. This is important for people watching here. And so now you're walking around the pod one day, and she confides that she really hates this estranged son. This is her own flesh and blood, by the way. And
Right.
it's her son,
Right.
Robert. And obviously you have kids, and there's nothing
Yeah.
like a parent's love. I have 3 kids.
Right.
What can you tell us how that came up, if you remember, and like what she said about him specifically?
Sure. Well, initially she was talking about his marriage, and how he felt as though she ruined it, and that was, he was so angry with her, and then he was not a good child when he was younger, and but Charlie was this perfect angel, and so I just listened. But yes, Robert, she was very angry with him because she knew he was testifying against her.
Yeah.
And so,
Did she tell
yeah, that was,
at that point, did she tell you he was gonna testify in this trial?
she said that he had done a deposition, and that, yes, he was not on her side at all, and that he would be testifying against her. And
And
she was extremely concerned. Yeah.
yeah, and did you did you ask her any questions like why would your son testify against you? Anything along those lines?
Um, not so much. She was more of a talker. And then if I did have questions, I didn't want her to think that I was probing, or maybe just concerned about the case, or, this or that. Cause um, like I said, initially I was fond of her. So I did ask questions, but not that one specifically. What really interested me was just her money situation, her travels, and then her lack of interest in the Dan and his family and the kids. It was just very nothing, no remorse, and I don't understand that. And that got me every day, because I was waiting for that day to where she would say, I feel so bad, or maybe cry, but it didn't. So that was strange to me.
Yeah, by the way, I just want everyone to really take a moment to appreciate that Drina is speaking. Think about this. She was in jail with a woman accused of a murder for hire plot whose husband is a free man. And it takes a lot of courage to get up and do what Drina is doing. And I have no doubt that she testified, and we'll get to that with Drina, because of her integrity, because she's a good person and wanted to do the right thing. I see, and Drina, I'll have you address this. People openly say, "Oh, she's just a drug addict. She's just a self-serving person." Would you like to address that? I mean, what's so sad is that when people are drug addicted, you said it, and when they go to jail, people just assume that they're no longer like a human entity, that they're not a person anymore. But you are, I can tell, like you're a very good-natured person. Um, you have a lot of good in you. I think, contrary to
Thank you.
Donna. Yeah, contrary to Donna. And by the way, I'm not going to get into specifics, but Donna's had very difficult relationships with other members of her own family. And, I think that
Yes.
that's, and it's, I think from her doing, but I just want people to realize that for you to come on here takes a lot of courage. So kudos to you for that. Now,
You. It's important. It is very important to me because who I am not the word addict. I'm me, a beautiful, loving soul, as are many other addicts. And so I'm grateful for this because even if I can reach a few people and maybe my children will see this and remember that, even though society says mom is bad, that I'm actually still me. So, yeah,
right.
thank you so much.
Did I ask you how old your children are?
They are 24 and 20.
Oh, so they're
Mhm.
big kids, and
Yeah.
men, women.
They are both boys. It's hard for me to talk about them, so I may tear up. So
Yeah. Yeah. But are they doing okay?
so they are, but since I have been in trouble with the law, they stopped speaking to me. So I mean, not the whole time, but the past few times. So I miss them very much.
Yeah. You know what? I bet you that relationship will be repaired. I guarantee it. I don't want to make comparisons. I don't think Rob and Donna will ever be repaired, but you'll be able to repair that relationship. I have no doubt about it.
I believe that too.
Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
you got, you know, I'm good at giving advice. I think I'm very bad at following it, but it's the old, it's just little tiny baby steps. You can't expect too much of yourself too fast, but little baby steps. But
Right.
um, so now Donna at some point, literally, I believe, starts calling you her jail daughter and even
Yeah.
sunshine. Is that true? When do we reach that part of the relationship between the two of you?
Okay, so this was the thing. Um, the whole thing was that so I would talk to Harvey on the jail phone as well, like with her. And so
Right.
they weren't allowed to call me Drina for these were Donna's rules because um, you know, she didn't want the jail calls are recorded and she didn't want it known that it was me. So it was Sunshine. So that was my nickname. So
Mm,
then when I called Harvey, was to call Harvey when I got out, we were going to use Sunshine. The whole thing was a manipulation. She was trying to blow my head up. It was you're my jail daughter, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, which I mean, even though I am those things, no, I'm just kidding, but like I knew it was a
mm,
manipulation,
yeah,
so the jail daughter was her idea, and she could cry on cue, and she would do that with me, and it was just it was all there was all a plan behind everything. So even the Sunshine name, it was, so that's how that came about. So yeah, jail daughter of Donna Adelson.
and but
Yes.
but, I mean, your advantage in an odd way is that you've been in and out a lot, and I have a feeling you realize that this manipulation was starting to happen. You brought up
Yeah.
Harvey. Harvey's an interesting character in all this, and, most of the people who are watching this have been following this case closely for many, many years, but my own dear mother, she from day one has said that Harvey Adelson, who's a free man, has been complicit in this all along. He's a, the my parents, my dad was very quiet, kind of like to Harvey's quietness, and Donna's loud and gregarious. My mother's that way, so my mom knew just because you have a quiet husband doesn't mean he's not involved. And then when I was there for the trial, I've said this 1,000 times, I just got a very scary vibe off of Harvey. So now, did you talk to him? What was your interaction with Harvey?
Okay, so my first interaction was Donna called me over. She was on the phone with him on her bunk, and she wanted me to say hi. So I said hi, and he was, very kind. And he reminded me of someone like maybe from the mafia, like,
Yep.
Robert De Niro or Al Pacino or something. So, um, but yeah, he talked to me, and then when I would get a toothache, we would call him and he'd tell me what to do. He was nice, but I felt it, I was intimidated by him. And then when I was in the courtroom and I looked over and saw him, I got very scared. So yeah, I don't know what it is, just the air, the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. He very much gives off like a mafia don, mob boss
Yes.
vibe. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, saw him every day, but I saw him at the Metro Deli, and he's there's something very scary about him. I mean, we had another guest on that was friends with Dan Markel, and she literally, this was 11 years ago when the crime happened. She went to church after meeting him and bought a gun and then left Tallahassee. This is a very smart, was a woman that went to Harvard Law School. She, is a
Well,
very,
you're definitely not scaring me now.
no, no, no. I mean, it's just,
Bye.
yeah. So when the first time you talk to Harvey, do you get a sense that they're like, again, like manipulating you for something that's coming down the road? I mean, that they're being
I
this
mean,
nice to you?
yes, once I knew, I was aware the whole time. Yes.
Mm,
So I just, but I guess because maybe they had been able to do it for so long that, they just thought I got from them that the entitlement that I don't know if it was money or that they just really thought that they were better. I'm not sure what it was, just this sense of, um, we're able to do these things to people that shouldn't really be allowed. And that's my own words, I don't know. It's just I
mhm.
can't really verbalize exactly what it is. Entitlement, maybe. But yes, I definitely felt the manipulation from both
Yeah.
of them.
So let me try to deconstruct that a little. So at what
Okay.
point did Donna say, we come from a very well-to-do background. My husband was this big dentist, and my son is this big periodont. Like, how did you find out
No,
they came from? Okay, how did you start to put it together that this is a woman who has, her son drove a Ferrari, they lived in the same building as
right.
Alex Rodriguez, the baseball player. Like, they come from a lot of wealth.
A lot, a
How
lot.
did you come to, yeah, how did you come to find that out?
Okay, so I have heard their travel stories, you know, um, the places they would go, every country, the ways she would describe it, the houses that they've owned, that they rent out their family. She's been on Wheel of Fortune and just, but the places they've gone, the amount of money they've spent on the lawyers, and she never bragged about it, but just her life experience. I don't know what I would do with one of those vacations, but I mean, yeah, a lot of she had a good life, it sounded like. So
Now, um, she kind of strikes me as like not really knowing her environment necessarily. I'm curious what the other inmates in there thought of her. And I mean, number one, she talks a lot, obviously, but um jail, I don't know that jail is the best place to sit there and like brag about yourself and these like worldly trips to Vietnam and this place and that place. Were other inmates annoyed by her? Did they find her entertaining? What was the consensus from the other people in there?
so she didn't really talk to other people. She would say hi to them or whatever, but she would talk with me at her, but I was her friend basically. Like I don't think she was telling others about, her stories or whatever, but they viewed her as, she's horrible, this and that, but then they would ask her for food. So, that was just jail, but she also put on a role for others. She's timid and scared of everything, but then when it's just she and I, she's, F this person and F that person. So,
Mm.
um Yeah,
Mm.
I feel like she may have not been familiar with jail, but she knew how to put on a persona and play it. So now prison's very different than jail. So
Mm.
yeah. Hmm.
What do you see as the major difference between prison and jail?
Oh gosh. Prison is more like what you see on the movies. It's very scary. People, carry razor blades in their mouth, preparing for just in case there's a fight. The officers are male, whereas in Leon County they're all female. It's just it's scary. Where
Mm.
jail to me is not fun, but it's not really scary,
Mm.
So prison is a bad place. So
So
yeah.
yeah, so bear with me here. I'm gonna kind of go step by
Mhm.
step because I want to get back to
Okay.
like the quote unquote script. But we
Okay.
were watching all along the way while she was in the Leon County Jail, different hearings. And at one hearing, ironically, she's complaining about her hearing at a hearing. Never thought about that until right now. Anyway, she says she's got um inordinately narrow ear canals, we find out, which has become like an interesting revelation. So that was one thing. And then she said that the mattress was too thin and she couldn't sleep. There was another accusation, and I'm wondering if you know anything about this. One of the inmates, quote unquote, touched her buttocks while she was in the shower. Do you know about that? Did you know about that?
Yes, so that never happened. But Donna would tell me we would walk and she would come up with ideas of what she's going to do to try to get a bond hearing. So the shower thing was not true. Maybe her hearing was off, but she would talk to me about how she's going to manipulate the psychiatrist so she looked like she had memory problems. She was never attacked. Nobody grabbed her arm. No one was, you know, it wasn't. No, she never got touched in the shower.
So there was no like Babette in the jail who's grabbing her behind. I mean, she's
No,
yeah.
no.
Okay. So again, this just it doesn't even reek. It just shouts manipulation. So tell me about like these, I guess would it happen on your walks where she would say, "So Drina, I've got this idea. I'm going to tell my lawyer that my ear canals are bothering me. I'm going to then say that some big woman tried to touch my ass, and I'm going to try to get a bond here." Like, how open would she be about all this stuff with you?
No, it was more, well, what do you think? Do you think that this might be helpful in my bond hearing? And or, this might be helpful. And the one with the shower thing, I said, I told her that's ridiculous. Nobody's gonna believe that. But she still went with it. So I mean, but yeah, she would just come up with these ideas and I played along with it. So,
Mm.
you know.
How often would you kind of see her um change from personality to personality? Like you said that she would play sort of this timid character, but
Mhm.
then quote unquote behind closed doors. I guess when you guys were walking the yard and no one's there, now she's like this tough woman. Is that like an everyday thing that you would notice where she'd be able to like sort of become this chameleon, switch from one
Yeah.
identity? Yeah. Describe that a
Yes.
little
And
bit. Just yeah, describe
well,
that.
first you said walking the yard. I just want to let you know that the annex is just one room, and you can't tell if it's daytime or nighttime. And we didn't go outside for 5 months, so it's important to me for everyone to know that that was a very challenging time. So we would walk the room you saw in the video and the trial. That was the annex. So we would walk around the beds. So that was our area.
Mm.
Just so you know.
Yeah, real
But
quick,
so,
I'm sorry to interrupt here, but this I'd like
no, it's
to
okay.
show you. No, COE, if you have either Donna's transport video or after the verdict to show Drina, because I'm sure you haven't seen any of this video, I assume. Okay,
No,
I'd love
I haven't even watched the whole trial. So
yeah, and I'm gonna kind of go step by step through that. But
okay.
um, now the other person who testified in this trial is Patricia Berg.
Burn. Mhm.
I assume you know Patricia. How well do you know her, and how was your
Um,
relationship different than Donna's relationship with her?
um, well, I Donna didn't trust Bird, but she needed her, so she held on to her and would get her packages, but she just didn't trust her. Bird is a decent person, I've known her from jail, but I don't really know her that well. I can't say she's bad or good. I
Mm.
she just Donna wanted her to say something, and Bird agreed to do it. Well, she didn't, but she agreed to Donna. So Donna, I think, really considered me. She trusted me.
Yeah,
So
and when you say that Donna she didn't really like Patricia, but she needed her, and
mhm.
I'm sure it was the sentiment was, reciprocated. I'm sure Patricia not in love with her either, but when you say she needed her, in what way?
She needed her to say things at the trial, or to, you know, write something for Donna. It was usually because Miss Bird was incarcerated with Miss Magbanwa as well. So it was usually, let's make it look like everything was Kay's fault.
Mm.
That was usually her manipulation somehow. And she did it with other inmates as well. She approached them, they agreed to do it, and then nothing happened. So.
Now, speaking of Kay, again, for those who are just joining, that's a nickname for Katie Magbanwa, who's now serving a life sentence. Tell us a little bit, by the way, about just Katie, your relationship with her. Um, she had a chance at a plea deal, which she turned down, and is now serving a literal life sentence, which has got to be an absolute living hell. But how was your relationship with Katie Magbanwa?
I mean, it was a jail friendship, but she was a very kind person. She never talked about her case. I know she has two kids. Her mother passed away while she was in there. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about her. We weren't close, but, you know, sh- she was nice to everyone. That's all
Yeah,
there's not, when you're in jail, it's not really, there's it's rare that you find a real friend. So it can become lonely, but that's why I say you spend time with someone, but it's not genuine or real, like the friends you may have outside of jail. It can happen, it's just rare.
yeah. Here's another
Yeah.
comment. As a reminder, you can do it, Drina. It's a battle of the mind, praying for healing all of your broken parts, and it's going to happen. There's a mill. You'll be able to go back. We'll send you the link. You'll be able to read all the comments, and there'll be a lot of them. And we've got the best community in all of the YouTube. So I stand by that. So, um, now it all starts ironically with a powdered donut. Now Donna, she's kind of pulled you in, and now you're kind of developing this rapport, but you get the sense, that there's other things here at play. Um
Mhm.
she I mean, you're an addict, and she offers you pills at one point. Um
Right.
how did that come about?
So I guess she knows a certain whoever Jerry Obed is. She was just letting me know that if I ever needed anything, knowing that I discussed my addiction with her, and just letting me know that that was available to me, which I played along with it, but on the inside, that made me very upset. But the pills, and then just you know, I feel like in her mindset that, oh, 10 grand, this person's an addict. Of course they're going to do this, so, but yeah, I was angry with her for a while, but, that's just who she is. So,
Mm, yeah. Now,
yeah,
at one point, she apparently offers you a grand piano. Are you a piano player? I mean, that's kind
I
of
am.
yeah. And
Yes, and that's always been my dream, so I told her that. I said, "I love grand pianos, I've always wanted one," and, well, she would do her cry thing and tell me, I'll get you one," so,
mm. um
mm,
how did how did she respond to the COs, and how did the COs respond to her? Was she respectful of them? How did they interact?
Okay, so I don't know if she thought she was at a motel or something, but she would get extremely angry when they say they wouldn't, do something for her that, she would expect. Or, I mean, of course, it's jail. She was never very rude to them, but she never spoke highly of them, that they were just horrible and this and that. But sometimes the interactions, you could tell that a lot of the officers were irritated with her because of the air that she was entitled. But yeah, she definitely felt like she didn't belong there and she shouldn't be being treated like that. But they were just doing their job. They were never too mean or too nice to her.
Yeah. Well, if you see Charlie, there's video of her son Charlie teeing off on a female corrections officer because she accidentally hit his toe twice, and he was kind of a complete, what, to the corrections officer. So that
Well,
runs in the family.
the correction officers actually, if inmates have this stigma with their police, we don't talk to them, but the correction officers are actually extremely encouraging if you can get past that. And they've actually, there's been times where I've been crying and they've helped me. So they're decent people, at Leon County. That's all I can speak of, but they've helped me through a lot, so they are decent people.
Okay. Have you ever been to prison?
I have.
Yeah. So it wasn't Lowell,
Yeah.
was it? Was it Lowell?
Yes, it was the main unit.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
whole separate show, but how rough is Lowell?
Sure. Um, Lowell there's no heat, no air, there's sewer coming out, there's male officers that can sexually assault the female inmates. There is, I don't know, the list goes on forever. It's hell, and I still have trauma from that. It is
Mm.
horrible.
How
Yes.
is I mean, I didn't realize you were there. I would have like set aside, but this is this whole other show. But let me ask you, Donna is likely headed there. It might
She's
not
there
happen.
already.
Oh, is she there already? I know she's at the reception center,
Yes.
but in your
Mhm.
opinion, how would Donna do at Lowell?
Oh, she's going to have a very hard time. And even though Donna's a horrible person, people say I have a problem where I give too much grace, but it's going to be hard for her. It really is going to be very hard for her. Not just the situation and the environment, but the inmates aren't going to be good to her, and it's going to be challenging. You can't, the things she would say to an officer in Leon County, if she were to say that in prison, the consequences are very different. So
Mhm.
she's, yeah, it's going to be a struggle.
What about the money factor there, that she comes from a lot of wealth, that the prisoners find that out?
Mhm.
Will she be extorted, which is the irony of all ironies, because she said the gang
I
members extorted
mean,
her, but will she have to pay for protection there?
possibly,
Wow.
possibly,
Wow.
yes, especially because of the affiliation with the Latin Kings and everything. She could possibly have to do that.
Did Katie ever say anything about Donna, that was, like, ill-intentioned? Like, "If I ever see her in prison, I'm gonna kick her, you know what?"
Kay never spoke about her case or anything ever at all to anyone.
And did Donna
So
ever say, mean things about Magbanua? Like, well, aside from the
yes,
fact that uh, tell us
yes.
about that. I mean, how did she perceive Katie Magbanua as this person who should take the fall for the crime, who did it? What was her perception of Katie?
That Kay should die because she ruined her family and she's a conniving vampire. Again, Kay deserves to die. I mean, she despised her. And it's almost like Donna is the queen. Donna's the leader, or not the leader, but the king. Even of Harvey, Donna rules, and I think that something must have happened between her and Kay that you know made her very angry. Maybe, I don't know, but she did not like Kay, and she mentioned numerous times on different occasions that Kay deserves to be dead. So yeah, she did not like her.
If everyone thinks I'm calm tonight, I'm not. My anxiety is always at about an 11 out of 10,
I'm
and
sorry.
no, it's all good. But my worry tonight is that she's on a battery that I'm terrified is going to run out. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. In terms of, she said to you, Donna said to you, essentially, I hate my son, which is just in and of itself is just, I mean, how if you hate your son, you've got some things going on in life. But did she ever speak about her daughter, Wendy? Did you ever hear her mention Wendy?
Yes, yes, she adored Wendy. She told me everything about her. Yes, she did speak a lot about Wendy. As a matter of fact, she said I reminded her of Wendy, and I know that that had to have been another manipulation, but because I have a passion for I would love to be able to help women that have been human trafficked, or that's something that I'm interested in. And I guess Wendy wrote a book on that. And so, but yes, she adores Wendy. She adores Charlie. And I don't know why she has the feeling she does about Robert, because I would love my kids no matter what. So
Let me tell you right now, you're way cooler and prettier than Wendy, and I've seen her in person.
really, thank you.
Yes, by miles. Did she ever happen to say, did Donna ever at any point admit to anything quietly? Did you ever say, because the opening quote, I think what you said in court was that she did say that it happened. She just didn't mean for it to get that out of control. How did that whole conversation come up?
Okay, so I want to share everything with you, but there are things that she told me, and I honestly don't know how powerful these people are.
Mm.
So, I mean, we could do like a crazy, amazing interview, and I'll tell you everything, and then you fly me to another country to protect me. That would be cool. But I mean, there's a lot that the family has done that just use your imagination. The family has been involved in some interesting things Donna has shared with me.
You're talking about
So,
outside of the murder of Dan Markel? Are you saying
yeah,
besides that? Interesting.
yes.
Is
Mhm.
it are they can I ask you, are they financial crimes?
Um, I think you should use your imagination.
Okay.
And
Um,
yes, I want to, we'll say no more about that at this moment.
yeah, well, we'll do a follow-up interview when I collect the money, and
Okay.
we'll send you to Vietnam, which will be the irony of all ironies. That's what you should. Um,
Okay. You'll
yeah,
just have the feds there waiting for me.
but
Nice
but
try.
but that, yeah, I mean that quote at the top. I just want to. Let me just pick up the exact quote. I just want to. I think your testimony. You know what? Let's play a little bit of your testimony right here from
Oh
trial.
God.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
know you're not. No one wants. No one wants to watch themselves except for my mom. She watches every show. Here we go. Let's watch a second of this.
Ever mentioned to you
Oh
a
God.
state witness by the name of Catherine Magbanowa?
Yes.
And was Ms. Magbanowa somebody that was known to you?
Yes, I knew Miss Magbanwa from being locked up with her years before.
And how did she first bring up Magbanowa to you, or did you bring Magbanowa up to her?
I can't remember exactly how it was brought up. I just know that it was brought to her attention.
Brought to her attention that you knew Magbanowa?
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, did the defendant try to recruit you to become a witness for her in this case?
Yes.
How did she first approach you about that?
She asked me if I would be willing to do it, and I said yes.
Okay. And was this topic discussed one time or more than one time?
More than once.
How many times can you estimate? A lot?
A lot, yes.
Okay. And what is it that she wanted you to testify about?
She wanted me to testify about numerous different things about Kay, mostly about Miss Magbanwa.
And Miss Magbanowa, you knew her by the nickname Kay?
Yes.
Okay. And so she had some things she wanted you to say about Kay.
Correct.
At some point, did she prepare a script for you of exactly what she wanted you to testify to?
She did.
I'm going to approach and show you what I marked as State's Exhibit 62. Whose notebook is this?
That's mine.
Okay. And whose handwriting is this on this first page?
That's Donna's, Miss Adelson.
Okay, so she wrote this in your notebook?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it you were supposed to do with this information?
I was supposed to study it and answer it correctly on the stand for her.
So this is what she wanted you to say in court.
Yes, ma'am.
So for example, how did you know Donna Adelson? You were supposed to say everyone knew her. She's been on the news. I've seen and heard about this on TV shows and read it in the newspaper over the years.
Correct.
Do you read the newspaper?
No.
Okay. Did you know much about her or her case prior to coming in contact with her in the Leon County Jail?
No, ma'am.
And what were you supposed to do with this physical script?
I was supposed to copy it down and give it back to her.
Okay, copy it into your own handwriting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you provide this item to my office?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it copied and returned to you?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do with it once you returned with the original to Leon County Jail?
Return it to her.
Okay, so that's the notebook. Obvious question. I mean, what was it like to get up and testify in such a high-profile case?
I was so scared. I mean, the anxiety. Sometimes I would not even like know what she was saying to me because I was so nervous. And the jurors are right there, and I look like jail, and my kids could possibly be watching, and it was very, very overwhelming. And I was scared I didn't want to stutter, and I knew there was judgment, but it was a lot. And then when he kept attacking my character, I almost cried. But I held back. But it was very scary. And the officer that they take us up and down in our shackles at the courthouse, he told me just to remember they're just people, and that's what I kept telling myself. They're just people just like me. But it was very scary.
Yeah, I mean, you did amazingly well.
Thanks.
We're going to get to these questions, and then as we go a little bit further toward the end, I want to bring in, and I will miss some questions, so I want everyone in STS Nation to start to prepare questions, and we can do some rapid fire questions so everyone gets involved toward the end here. But the quote is that I read off the top was, and I thought we might hear it here, in terms of the crime and killing Dan Markel. You said that she did say she did it, but it was to keep her grandkids. It wasn't supposed to go that far. How did she ultimately tell you this?
Well, there wasn't like one, final conversation. It was, she would open up more and more to me. And I listened very closely. So, there would be lies that I would catch. However, it was, it came down to her admitting that, the kids were hers. And she said a lot of nasty things about Dan, but I don't really want to discuss that because I just feel like, his family, they deserve all the help and love that they can get. And I think that it's important to only focus on the positive with him. But she spoke very negatively. And yes, she did admit to a lot. I just think when it comes to that, it's more important to focus on the beauty of Dan and the children.
Did she at any time either say that Wendy or Charlie or Harvey helped her with this?
Charlie, to her angel, completely innocent. She never spoke either way. with Wendy, she would hit on it a little bit, but there was never like a full admission. But with Harvey, it was Harvey's gonna go along with and do whatever Donna says. So yeah.
If you had a guess, your gut could tell you a lot of things. Would you, at this point, do you think that both Wendy and Harvey, who are unindicted co-conspirators, does your gut from your conversations with Donna tell you that they had something to do with this?
I feel as though they were under their mother's control, and that we'll just say Donna is good at manipulating people, and you guys can, take it from there with if Donna told them to do something, I believe they would do it, but I can't know for sure.
Okay, that's fair. We're obviously gonna have to get back on the show for a part 2 at some point. Now, during her statement at sentencing, she's crying and saying that Dan was a victim in all this. He didn't deserve this. In your opinion, was that just, I mean, you said that she said horrible things about Dan. Is she just completely acting for the public there?
So I haven't seen that, but if that's what she was doing, that's not what she shared with me at all. At all.
Yeah, she was
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She was crying crocodile tears. No tears were coming out. And she said that Dan is a victim. He didn't deserve any of this. But you're hearing something completely different from her, correct?
Right. He was a controlling husband, and he was just this and that. And yeah, there was never a there was no guilt, no remorse. So yeah, I mean, I didn't watch that, but if no.
I mean, that was my next question. Do you ever get a sense from her that she felt badly that Dan Markel was killed, shot in the head twice?
No, maybe she felt bad that it didn't go as planned and that she was locked up, but I did not get a sense that she felt bad. No.
So any of like the awful feelings would be for herself that she got caught, is what you're saying.
Right, or for Charlie, or for what they're going through. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Okay, let me just pull up a question here. This is Dr. Reinhardt from earlier. Were you surprised that Donna wrote out a script for you? How long did she work on it? I mean, when I heard that, I was like, this woman is cooked. She is convicted. I mean, just the audacity to have someone like to literally write a script in your own handwriting.
Right.
How did that process play out? Did she say, I have an idea, let me write this down for you? How did it all play out?
Okay, so like I told you, when tables turned for me, when she made the comment about Robert, and it was then that I realized, okay, wow, this woman, if you can't love your son, something's wrong. And so then it was like my eyes were open. But after that, I realized what she was doing. And so I started, please don't judge me for this, but, talking to the investigators more. And I knew that there would be judgment and that people wouldn't believe me. So when Donna was telling me all these things, I thought, well, maybe she could write them down for me. And so I said, listen, can you write this down for me? Because I'm not going to remember it. So she wrote it down, but her thing was I had to give it back to her so they wouldn't find anything in her handwriting.
This is fascinating. Yeah. And I want to respect the investigation, but basically investigators, I don't want to say guided you, but you were talking to investigators. So
yes, but that they were not guiding me. They always told me, let her come to you. Do not, probe. I did that, what I just told you. I was speaking with them because when, I was on camera, obviously, and I didn't know what to do when she would tell me certain things. So I would call, and I didn't know when I was just supposed to stop, because honestly, I didn't want to keep talking to her, so there was that, but then information was needed. So it was a confusing time,
Would they?
but I think I did what I was supposed to.
I think you definitely did. Can I just ask you,
Yeah.
would they come to the jail to speak to you? Because that seems a little risky, and that Donna might get word of that, right?
Um, so at times they did, yes, but the jail has a way of um making it to where they're not like, Drina, you're going to talk to investigators about Donna, you know. So no, she I mean, if she got suspicious, she didn't stop talking to me or anything. But usually if I was scared about some things she said, I would just call them and ask, what should I do? And there were times where I was like, what have I gotten myself into? I don't want to do this anymore. But I didn't really have a choice. I had kind of already done it, and then I knew that I had to do what I had to do to, you know, and I did, and I just really, really hope that something positive comes out of all this, not just for the Markel family, but even with me, if something happens to where ultimately I can encourage other addicts or bring light to the fact that all men that are incarcerated are not bad people, then I would do it again. I would be incarcerated again if something good could come out of it.
Mm. Spill the crime tea here. Drina, when did Donna realize that you were not going to lie for her? Did that change the dynamic for you in jail?
She did not realize that until trial.
Hmm. That's a little too late for her. From Pamela, Drina, STS community has your back. We will fully support you. Addiction is a disease and takes a village to recover. My sister is a few weeks from 1 year sober and just had a liver transplant.
Mhm.
Transplant. You got this. Um, I have no doubt Drina will get out of this. Going back to her just ruthlessly telling you that she wanted to punish Rob or hurt Rob. I forget the exact word you used. Did she go into any more detail about that? Did she say like anything along the lines of she wanted to get rid of him, kill him, anything like that?
Okay, so her exact words were, which I told the prosecution that I wasn't, they said I wasn't allowed to say this at the trial, but Donna told me she wanted to kill him by shoving a shoe down his throat. And that was it for me. That was what I was talking about. So yes, and I know it that's not possible, but that's, she had a lot of hate for him. So yes, that's what she said. So now it's out.
Wow. So this is like real animus, like a real anger and hatred. I mean, I'm not the
Right.
therapist, my mother is, but obviously you're not going to kill someone shoving I mean, I guess it's possible, but just the visuals of that alone, when she said that to you, I mean, there had to be a part of you in your brain going, "This woman is nuts." What were you thinking when she said that?
Well, that, like I told you, that was my turning point, and I was thinking, this isn't just a bad person. This is evil. This is beyond bad. This is I'm kind of scared, Um and also that there can be people on this earth that are like that. It was scary. Yeah, it was definitely, it's all still a shock to me, like I'm still processing everything, but just like I said, that was the turning point for me. And it's vicious. And there are other things that she shared with me that were vicious as well. I just, maybe we'll talk about it behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I'd love to do that. And I honestly, either way, I just hope that we can all stay in touch and make sure,
Yes.
um, that we got to keep you on the straight and narrow here. And I'll
Mhm.
see if I can call my mom off the retirement bench. And she's a great person to run stuff by. But oh, look at this. He's a doll is here. Nancy Grace, Drina in 1 week. You are killing. Thank you. This, by the way, is going to get much more attention than Nancy Grace. Not to throw shade on Nancy. I love Nancy. The COE, and my mom. All three like to yell at me, so it's a good thing. You sort of answered my question, but is Donna Adelson, in your opinion, evil?
Yes, and I actually used that word. We had to have a mock trial, like a practice trial, I suppose. And
Mm.
I said that. I said she's evil, and Miss Kappelman told me that I wasn't allowed to say that, but that was the word that I used. Yes, that is exactly what I
Wow.
felt from her.
Did you ever
Mhm.
find out why you weren't allowed to use the word evil? I think it's probably because it's very prejudicial. But did she ever give you an explanation as to why not use the word evil?
It's an opinion, I think maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not really allowed to share my opinions. I don't know though, because I was able to share that her demeanor changed. I'm not really sure. Maybe it made me sound crazy because some people don't like evil. I don't know. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure. I didn't ask.
I think in the law it's either prejudicial or yeah, giving your own opinion is the bottom line. But it's
Right.
interesting for sure to hear from you now. And I know Georgia's mom watches the show, and I have a feeling Georgia watches occasionally. So she's probably quietly I don't
Mhm.
know, cheering you on. But that's interesting. So I've got to ask a follow up then. So they really prepared, I guess, you and Patricia Bird for this. Um, was she involved in this mock trial with you, Patricia?
She was, but we weren't able to see each other. She went and then I went. So, and honestly, I had no idea. Every time they would bring me to court, they just kind of told me what was happening. I had no idea what I was really doing, and when I got out, I just typed my name into Google, like, 2 days ago, and I had no I was like, "Wait a second." I was and so I didn't realize, um yeah, I'm still kind of in shock about how big this is right now, and I really think it's important for everyone, all the podcasters, just the crime TV shows, to not lose sight of the fact that Dan Markel's family and the love and support for them is the most important thing. And someone's life was taken, and so it is good to talk about what happened with Dawn and everything, but to me, it's important to remember and to also always try to talk about the positive of Dan Markel and maybe trying to help his family.
Amen to that. And for full disclosure, I was texting with Phil tonight. I was devastated for him because now his Toronto Blue Jays lost in the World Series. But I know he's going to appreciate that, as will Ruth and Dan's sister, Shelly. Um, I just want to get back to. I mean, do you think before I ask this question, let me just point blank ask you: do you have any doubt that Donna was capable of organizing this murder for hire against Dan Markel?
No doubt. And I also think that she truly believed that she would be able to get away with it.
What what part of her makes her, do you think that she was going to get away with it? Do you think she thinks she's smarter than everyone?
Well, that kind of goes back to what I was telling you. I can't really pinpoint a word, like, but yes, entitlement. Maybe it's the money, but just, yeah, better than everyone, smarter than everyone. I feel like just the way she tried to manipulate me, I could feel the air about her, like, oh, I've got her, she's a drug addict and she's gonna fall for this. She probably was successful in that a lot, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what the word is. Better than everyone, smarter, entitled, evil.
Do you think if you cross paths with Donna on the outside that, I mean, you guys would ever connect in any way?
Of course not, because I'm an addict. I mean, I'm nobody, in her eyes. I mean,
Right.
she spoke of other inmates that way, so yeah.
Let me tell you something. You're a lot more of a empathetic human than Donna Adelson is. Gonna start
Sure.
tonight. No more saying you're a nobody. I mean, you're from everything I've seen so far. I'm actually, I'm incredibly impressed. I know you're gonna
Thank
get
you.
out of it this time. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna work together. We're gonna get STS Nation involved. We're gonna keep you clean and make sure we're going to have some support system in place. We're getting a little bit closer to the end here. Thank you to
No.
Judy Herbert. No, we'll keep going for a little while. I just want to give everyone, if you have questions now for Drina, please put in the triple Q and I'll scroll to the end. Judy Herbert, thank you so much. 10 Survive the Survivor memberships. Jared Ross, who's a friend of Dan Markel and one-time friend of Wendy Adelson. Thanks for saying that. Drina, despite Donna's attempts to play the victim in all of this, the real victims are Danny, his family, and certainly his kids.
Mhm.
And Jared helps run an organization called Justice for Dan Markel. I know this is, very important to the family to be hearing this from you. So, Drina, what was your take on the judge? I'm not done yet, by the way, but Drina, what was your take on the judge in the case, Judge Stephen Everett, and how he ran things in the courtroom?
So like I said, I didn't really follow the case, so I only kind of had my 10 minutes with him. He seemed tired, bored, and annoyed and ready for it to be over with. I mean, I'm sure it went a little deeper, but that's what I got from my time with him. And then as I'm walking out, he says something to me, and I was so nervous. I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it was horrible."
Yeah, he's
But yeah,
a very cool guy, so I'm sure he understands that you were nervous. And he runs
yeah.
that courtroom like a tight ship. Drina, I know you're in recovery, but you could be a great help to others in your situation. Yep. That's from Maureen Guichard. Sobriety because screw Donna and grand pianos. Through spite, all things are possible. I like that from Kim Fine. Let me get back to Harvey for a minute. So
Mm.
did you ever Donna put you on the phone with Harvey, but did you ever have a private did Harvey ever call you separately?
So am I allowed to just freely talk about this? I don't know. Yeah, okay, so
I think
yeah,
so.
just oh well, you know what? We're adults. Let's do it. So when I got out of jail, yes, I had contact with Harvey.
Mm. And
Yes.
at that time, did he offer to help you out financially? I know there was talk about Zelle payments. Was Zelle
Um,
involved?
it didn't end up happening, but I believe it may have been because Harvey and Jackie Fulford maybe could sense that it wasn't just me calling, so it didn't go through. It didn't
Mm.
work out. Yeah.
Now, when COE, I saw your comment there. The trial's over. I don't want to jeopardize the investigation, but did Harvey call you more than one time? Was it a call of a threatening nature? Was he trying to get you to help? Can you just give us a little information on what those correspondences were like when he called you?
Right. Well, so I called him initially and of course identified myself as Sunshine. And then he asked me to set up oh gosh, there's some sort of app where you can't trace the discussions and I can't think of it. But
Signal?
an
Is it
app like,
Signal?
yes,
Is it
thank you. That's
Signal?
it.
Okay,
Signal.
Signal.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, so we downloaded that, and maybe a few times he called me, but never any threats. It was just how are you, Sunshine, and stuff like that. I was promised so much from Donna that it was just you know unreal, and but yeah, no, Harvey never threatened me. He always remained that calm, like I said, boss type demeanor. So yeah.
What's your hunch? I mean, who's the real? I'll use this word. I know it's not you, but who's the real manipulator here? Is it Donna or is it Harvey? Does Donna pull all the strings?
Let's see. So Donna, Donna. I feel that Harvey definitely has power in different ways, but Donna was the boss. Yeah, but she can't do that with everyone.
Very interesting. For Yellow Fun Bug, go back to the question when you were saying, Drina, this is the very beginning. I was walking in the yard and Donna said, and then I probably interrupted you. Can you complete that sentence?
I mean, we walked around numerous times. You have to give me a little more.
I
Donna
think
said what?
yeah, I think it was maybe at the very beginning. And please, Yellow Fun Bug, let us know specifically. I think at the very beginning you were talking about how she was talking about her hatred for Rob, and you already told us that she wanted to
Mhm.
kill him by shoving a shoe down his throat, which is I mean, Drina, just taking a half step back here. I mean, this, in my opinion, you know, at the worst, it's just pure evil. At the best, it's just very manipulative. But now you've got a husband who's calling you, obviously just trying to himself manipulate a situation. You know, maybe following Donna's orders, but he's still doing this. Do you think this whole family, they say they're an enmeshed family, but in your dealings with Donna, do you, outside of the estranged son, do you get the feeling that this family was just so entangled in each other?
Definitely. That's a very good way to put it. Very good way to put it. Yes.
Do you feel like it got to the point like that they were so depraved and entangled that they couldn't like it was hard for them to see good from bad or good from evil or bad from good or I don't know. Was it did it get to a point you think where they I don't know, they just lost sight of any kind of light in their life?
I believe that they thought of they were each other's light, and they would do whatever they had to protect them. So therefore, nothing, you know, uh, no, they didn't think anything was there was nothing too bad for them to do to keep that family knit together. So yeah, I really liked the way that you put that because aside from Rob, um yeah, it was definitely a interesting dysfunction.
Now, I'm particularly interested in Wendy. I'm the youngest child. Wendy's the youngest child. I know how to press my mother's buttons. I think that Wendy knows how to press her mother's buttons. Um, at this, there were times, well, I don't know if it was during this 5 month stint that you were initially there with Donna, but there were times where this is actually much earlier because it's when Donna is speaking to Charlie, while Donna is still free. But we've heard jailhouse calls, and I know there's moments where Donna is really angry with Wendy. Did you get any of that from Donna at any point that Wendy is betraying the family, that she basically threw her brother under the bus, Charlie, any of that stuff? Did you hear any of that from Donna?
Yeah, well, Donna doesn't like within her family if she's got a plan and it's got to be, it has to happen exactly, how she set it up. So if one thing goes wrong, even if it's a small thing, then she's going to be very angry. So if Wendy steps to the left instead of the right on a Tuesday, then Donna's going to be pissed if it, did anything. And honestly, I feel like her children may even have been scared of her. You know, I would have been scared if that was my mom. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really fascinated by this because, one of the things that Georgia and Sarah Catherine Dugan, the two prosecutors, say at the beginning is that killers and murderers don't look like what you necessarily think they're going to look like. And the picture that you're painting and other people have painted, not just you, is that she's a real face of evil, this woman. And I wouldn't be surprised if the kids were afraid of her. Did you? you said you saw like her switch from like this timid kind of personality to like very vocal and sort of a Grandma
Um,
Gotti type, which is what people said. Was she filled with rage? Was there a part of her you think that was filled with rage?
yes, if you can picture like The Exorcist. So there's like the, sweet, and then there's like I mean, it was that severe, like you know, I don't know if I can cuss, but the F you and this
Yeah.
and the voice even changed. And it's like, yeah, it was scary. I mean, there was a huge change in character and how easy she could flip it on and off, for the officers or for whoever. Um, I mean, I know we all change, depending on who we're around to a certain extent, but that was schizophrenia or possession or something. I'm not sure, but it was definitely a scary thing for me to experience. And I can only imagine what it was like growing up in that household.
Mm. And
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me because at the very beginning you said that you grew up incredibly poor, but you were so happy you didn't know. And a lot of times you
Mhm.
talk to kids. My mother is a Holocaust survivor,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and like when I speak to her and her friends, they always talk about what a beautiful, happy childhood they had. Even though some of them were hiding out, not my mother, but one of her friends had to hide inside a coffin at night. But when you talk
Wow.
to her, she was like, "Oh, it was so much fun. I was little. My mom loved me." It's fascinating. And then you've got this horrific woman, this mother, Donna, who's an absolute nightmare. And I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie and Wendy and Rob were all terrified of this lunatic
Mhm.
of a woman. By the way, did you ever see the clip of her on Wheel of Fortune?
I did. I did actually. And Wendy was on The Weakest Link as well.
Yeah,
And I believe she
what
won.
yeah, when Donna described,
Right.
she was asked what she does on Wheel of Fortune. This is back in 1989, and she says she's a domestic coordinator. What did you think of that when she said that? She was running the show back then.
I mean, I mean, it's fitting. Yeah, very fitting. She's definitely the coordinator of everything. Mhm.
Wow.
And there's so much more with that family, that I would love to talk about, at some point.
Trust
Maybe
me,
we could talk and
yeah, we're gonna have you back. Trust me. Trust me. I have a feeling you're gonna be a regular on STS. The puzzle that she solved, by the way, this is true from Chuck D. Truth, Mischief Maker, was the puzzle that she solved, which is absolutely crazy. And I think you were
that's so interesting.
and
Wow. Okay.
did, were you able to catch? I know you were still in Leon County. Were you able to catch the latest Dateline episode about them?
No, I actually haven't watched, like I told you, anything. Like I just watched a few videos last night and I'm still in shock that my name's being said on the news nationally.
Yeah. Um.
It
So
freaks me out a little.
yeah. So let's go to September 4th. The jurors go back. They're told the trial, the defense, and the state both rest, and they're told they can go and deliberate. 3 hours later, they come back. The verdict is guilty on all three counts. Um, I know you haven't seen it, but do you think that the correct verdict was reached in this case with Donna Adelson from what you know about her?
100%. Yes. Yes.
I have to also ask. I asked you about the judge, or someone in the community asked, but what about Georgia and Sarah Catherine Dugan? What were your impressions of Georgia Kappelman?
I actually adored her. She was very kind, and I mean, I didn't feel like it was she didn't have any other motives. I feel like she really had passion about, you know, real justice, not, there's a lot of corruption in the system, and I didn't get that from her. I didn't really know Sarah very well, but Georgia, yeah, I feel like she just wanted justice, so I liked her, and prosecutors and criminals usually don't get along very well. So But yeah.
She's now, as we talked about, she's going to face the rest of her life in prison. It's going to be a state prison in Florida. She's turning 76 in
Mhm.
February.
5th, February 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there a part of you that, I don't know, feels sorry for her that she's ended up in this absolute mess?
I mean, so here's the thing. I feel like, which I'm told constantly that this is one of my flaws, but I feel as though everyone deserves grace. So yes, a part of me does feel bad. Um, I feel like I wish the world could be different. I wish that she wouldn't have done it. I also wish that because she did this, instead of her getting counseling or some sort of help, which doesn't mean I'm siding with her or agreeing with her, but now she has to suffer for the rest of her life. I just wish there was a better way of doing things to where we could, maybe community could be more about love than about payback or about, eye for an eye. So it's confusing for me, and I'm not sure how I feel or what I'm supposed to feel. But yes, at times I do feel bad, and I don't know if that's wrong, but um, yeah, I mean, I forgive and I do feel bad for people. So I hope that's not wrong of me, but I do sometimes feel bad, and I feel bad for people that have hurt me deeply, and that I probably shouldn't feel bad for, but I do. So we all struggle.
Yeah. I think that's a very normal human reaction to feel that way. And I think, no matter which way you look at it, it's tragic. There's a woman who had seemingly a good, seemingly on the outside, a good family. They had a lot going for them, and it was all destroyed. But then you look at the Markels, and there's, the son and brother was taken. Those kids are, going to deal with it for the rest of their lives. So it's just horrible all around. Someone wanted to know if you cross paths at all with Donna post verdict inside the jail.
No, no, they kept us in separate pods. No, and I glanced at her once when I was in the courtroom, and the look she gave me made my heart drop. So no, 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 no.
Yeah, that's a smart move on the part of Leon County. From Dom's
Yeah.
mom here, a couple more questions. STS, if you have questions, triple Qs, please, and I'll go to the very bottom of the chat. Drina, you don't have to know it completely right now, but they want to know your plan moving forward. You have a career path in mind, schooling you want to do. Love to hear updates on how you're doing. A true gem. It's a lot, can be overwhelming. You don't have to have an answer for everything, but
So I was a nurse and I lost my license, and the trauma that I was telling you about that kind of set me on this downward spiral was um, I got in trouble one time and was not allowed to go back to live with my children and their father by his choice. Um, and I had been with my children and with their father for 17 years. So I, since then, which was 13 years ago, I have not been able to um, process or find. I don't know who to be or how to be without being a mom. So I have to figure this path out. So it's hard for me to answer that because um, I would love to just put all my focus on helping addicts and helping others, but I would love to be able to see my kids again. So at this point, yes, I could do what's right in society's eyes and get a job and do this and do that. But really, what if I could really truly help others, or even just one person? Then, that would help me. I have to stay busy. So staying busy, helping others, but I can't give you a direct answer because I live day to day, and life's not very easy out here, but it's still beautiful. So I'm just going to keep living and loving and staying sober, and hopefully make a new network of people that are like-minded with me, and just one day talk to my kids again. So let's just put that in the universe and hope for that.
Yeah. I think that will happen. We have a big viewership in Tallahassee. If there's anyone in Tallahassee who can help Drina with work, keeping her busy, helping her make some money, surviving the survivor at gmail.com. And yeah, I think that's incredibly important that you need to keep yourself focused and not allow temptation to set in. By the way, Phil Markel at the victim impact statement, there's a tradition in the Jewish religion to say, you know, may you live to 120. And he said that to Donna at the victim impact statement. He said, I hope you live to 120. He wants her to have time in prison to think about this crime. Do you think she's going to be able to reflect on what she did when she's finally in that, which I think she's there now, but in this prison, is she going to have a moment, you think, where it all hits her, or no? Is she incapable of that?
I mean, I think that we're all capable. I think that for a long time she's gonna be angry, which we all do that, you know, because it's easier to be angry than to be hurt. But to actually feel bad for what's happened and for Dan, no, I don't see that happening. I don't, unless, you know, unless there's a miracle, you know, I never know. But at this point, no. I mean, no. I don't. I just think she's gonna feel angry and feel sorry for herself and her family.
If you had one last walk around the yard with her, knowing everything now and knowing that she was convicted, what would you say to her before she went off to prison?
Oh gosh. I would probably, if it could just be something about my relationship with her, just that, you know, to not take a person and their label and, you know, who you think they are, and try to, you know, degrade them and manipulate them because of, you know, what they've done and who they are. And like what she did to me, I would tell her, you know, I'm worth more than, you know, 10 grand, and, you know, my life and my children. And what I could have gone to prison for 20 years for purging myself, and she didn't care. So I would have said to her, you know, I'm worth more than that. You know, you never should have put me in that situation. But um I don't ever want to see her again or walk with her or anything. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know what else. There's no other adjectives to describe this family, other than, I think, evil. This is an interesting question, which I didn't ask, which is why I'm glad you guys are throwing some final questions here. From Chewy Boy, was Donna at any point, did she express fear that her daughter, Wendy, could be arrested?
Yes, I mean, she was scared. She would say, then they're going to go after Harvey, then they're going to do this, then they're going to do that. She was scared for her whole family, yes. But also, I don't know if the public was aware, but she was offered a 10-year plea. And the rest of, if she would have taken that 10 years, then the rest of the family wouldn't have been convicted, or, you know, charged, and she didn't do it. So,
That
I mean,
This is absolutely fascinating what you just said. Donna was offered. Guess Tim Jansen was right about certain things that everyone's been beating them up for this whole time. So Donna told you she was offered a plea deal of 10 years.
mhm.
And what would that consist of?
Then her
What?
family wouldn't be charged in return for that, but she didn't do it. And when I said, well, wow, that's huge, why not? Because I'm going to beat trial. So, you know.
She really believed she was going to beat the system. She really thought she was going to get off.
Yes,
She told you that.
she did. Yes, I mean, she knew it. She just knew it. Yeah.
Drina, look at this. I'll tell you why they're doing this, but OMG, OMG, followed by wow, 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 wow. So we have a guest on who's a criminal defense attorney, Tim Jansen, and he broke the news months ago that Donna was offered a plea deal. He said time served, and everyone. There are a lot of people out there who should probably be apologizing to Tim Jansen right about now. I could think of a lot who said he was absolutely crazy, and now you're hearing from someone on the inside that that was in fact the case. You're hearing this from a former inmate, a friend of Donna Adelson. Donna was given a deal, a plea deal, 10 years in exchange for no other members of the family being indicted. And she turned it down thinking she was going to get away. So maybe people should be sending some apology cards to Tim Jansen. I hope he is listening to this. That is, I mean, what do you think of that sort of, I don't know if it's being egocentric, that kind of, I don't know what the word is, for Donna to feel so, I don't know, protected and believe in herself that she would be able to get, like that she's made of Teflon, essentially, that nothing was going to stick to her, that she turned down what now seems like an amazing deal, a sweetheart deal, really.
Right. Well, not just that, but I would do anything for my kids if they came to me and said that and I was in that situation to protect my family, of course, but I don't know. I don't understand it. But I mean, I guess she's doing more than 10 years now, so.
Look at this. Look at this. Michael not holding back at all. I'd love to date this woman. Smart and beautiful. I don't know. I don't know if you're in Tallahassee. We joke about STS singles here. There you go. Someone called Tim. I'm calling Tim right after this interview. I hope Tim is watching. I don't know that he is. I think tomorrow night we're going to have to bring the professor and Tim on, by the way, to just break down this interview, because this is a fascinating interview. So I asked you what you would say to Donna. What if you could have a minute? And I've gotten to the privilege of really becoming, friends and getting to know Dan's father, Phil, and his mother, Ruth, and sister, Shelley. If you could speak to them, and one day I would love to put you on the phone with them, what would you want to say to the Markel family?
Oh, wow. That I couldn't imagine, losing a child and having to watch it on TV and just process it, but just that just remember that, good still does exist and that love still does exist and that I would actually love to help in any way possible with the justice for Dan. If there's anything I could do, I would love to do it. I never know what to say to someone when someone passes, but try to just hold on to the good memories and maybe don't watch the news for a little bit and look at pictures of Dan with the children, everything. And I think the more we focus on positive, the more positive things happen. And just I'm very, very sorry. It hurts my heart. So
Listen, I don't know how to thank you enough. This is important, to hear this perspective. Someone that was this close to a convicted killer, to see the mindset, how it works. I think people are going to look at this with different sets of eyes for different reasons, but it's fascinating. The most important thing for me, honestly, I think this is. My dad was a psychiatrist. My mom was a social worker. They worked together. They had a family practice. And, I just tell my kids when they go to school, I don't care how you do in school, but you better be as nice to the custodian as you are to the principal. Be kind to everybody. I just want to really try to make an effort, as hard as it is in life, to connect you, try to stay in touch and make sure, even though people don't feel this all the time, I know that people here really care about you. And
thank you.
and I want you to really feel that. And I know people are going to step up, and the COE hates when I do this, but the COE is more empathetic than me. By the way, here's a funny story. Went on a honeymoon once in a life. Now I sound like Donna Adelson, but my uncle used to work in Africa, and he has about a gazillion frequent flyer miles. And when we got married, he said, he knows I love animals, and he said, I'll use my miles to send you guys to the safari in Africa. Why am I bringing this story up? So we went to safari in Africa. We went to see gorillas, and we were in Rwanda. Kigali, Rwanda, where Hotel Rwanda. That was the hotel we were at. The Hotel Rwanda is an actual hotel. It was a trip of a lifetime. 3 weeks later, the COE's like, I'm going away. I think we're engaged at this. No, we were just married. It was our honeymoon. So we were just married, and she has a friend from college. She's like, I'm going away. I'm like, where are you going? She goes, I'm going to Kigali. I won't even mention the other person's name. She went there to start help a nonprofit, because all over we would meet kids who didn't have pencils and they didn't have things like that. So you kind of remind me of the COE. That is my wife, and I know she's going to work behind the scenes to connect you with the right people in Tallahassee. So Tallahassee, please step up, and if you're out there, email us survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com, and please help us help Drina Bernhardt. And Drina, it was awesome to meet you. Stick around for 1 second. Yeah, stick around 1 second. I do want to give you. Is there anything that you want to say before we go?
There is. I just, first of all, I want to thank you and everybody that's watching and in the love and support. You don't know how much it means to me to hear kind, positive, loving words despite knowledge of my title and my incarceration. So I'm crying tears of joy because it still makes me feel like I am still, there's still hope for me, and I'm still a person who could make a difference and could be loved. So thank you so much. And it meant a lot. So thank you.
Love you, America. Love you, Tallahassee. Love you, Drina. Thank you for doing this. You are not your addiction. That is a phrase I saw over and over in the chat, and you will overcome this. Tomorrow, I think we'll get Joe and Tim on to react to everything we heard from Drina tonight, which is a lot. So thanks for being here. Drina, stick around for 1 second, okay?